think it is one of the great sights in world football when you get tens of thousands of Dutch football fans together. We really missed them at Euro 2016, we missed them at the World Cup in 2018. But when they get together, when they proudly display their orange, it is one of the great sights. And here come the team out onto the pitch under Ronald Koeman, this Netherlands side, hoping that things can click, that they can get that blend of youth and experience going forward into the tournament. But yes, in terms of atmosphere, we know that the Dutch can bring that like very few nations can. But one who'll give them a run for their money, of course, is Scotland. And the Scots, who, as you mentioned there, Aaron, 2,400 of them. We are going to have a moment of silence prior to the start of the match in memory of Kees Reivers, former Dutch national team player and national team coach. He's passed away recently at the age of 97. Erik ten Hag is named Rivers amongst the coaches who've most inspired his managerial career. And he was the coach who introduced youngsters like Ronald Koeman, like Ruud Gullit and like Marco van Basten. So ahead of kickoff and after the anthems, they'll pause for him. Making themselves heard in Amsterdam. This is BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds from the Johan Cruyff Arena. Now the Dutch anthem. Underneath the closed roof in Amsterdam, the sound bounces and reverberates back around the stadium. Big night for two teams who've got big dreams of what is to come in the summer. And Pat Nevin alongside me. Pat, this continues a run of what has been high-profile opponents for Scotland in recent times, playing England, playing Spain, playing France. This is where they want to be, playing against the big names.
Yeah, and some of the performances would be better than the others, but there's no point in hiding, and I don't think Stevie Clarke wants his team to be like that, and I don't think they are a group like that. Now, against France, it was very, very tough, but you get into a tournament and you need to make sure that when you get drawn, if you manage to get through the first three games, which Scotland have great hopes to be able to do, you're going to get a big hit at some point. You don't want to be fearful of it, you want to have faced up to it before, and that's why Stevie Clarke has put his players out against these teams, and also he's saying to them, I trust you, I believe you, you can have a go. But it is still going to be tough, very tough indeed for Stevie Clarke and his team tonight.
A week in which national team shirts has been a hot topic of conversation. Both teams here wearing their traditional first choice colours, the Dutch all in orange and Scotland in navy with the white and yellow trim. Mark Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper, between the sticks for the Netherlands. Jeremy Frimpong, Louharil Geertruida alongside Virgil van Dijk, with Nathan Ake completing the back four. Mats Wiever, Gio Wijnaldum and Tijani Rinders of Milan in midfield, with Xavi Simons, Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo of Liverpool completing the Holland attack. Angus Gunn is the goalkeeper for Scotland. Porteous, Hendry and Tierney, the three central defenders. Patterson and Robertson, the wing-backs. Gilmour, McTominay, McGinn and Christie in midfield. Lawrence Shankland leads the line. And now the moment's silence ahead of kick-off for Kees Reavers, who has passed away this month at the age of 97. They put a big picture of his face up on the screens inside this 55,000 capacity arena. The players are lined up around the centre circle in memory of one of the great national coaches in Dutch football history.
Please take a moment of silence for the Dutch player and coach Kees Reavers, who passed away earlier this month at the age of 97.
Live international football tonight on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We have the Netherlands against Scotland coming up in full. The Dutch, who have won 5 of their last 6 games and appear to be in fine fettle ahead of Euro 2024. Scotland, who want to get back to winning ways after going 5 matches now without a win. Ronald Koeman said yesterday he was going to play with a midfield 3. In recent times, the Dutch have had 2 central players. Interesting to see how Wijnaldum slides back into European football, having been playing all this season in Saudi Arabia. To 91st cap for Gio Wijnaldum in the middle of the midfield. Scotland are going to get us started. John McGinn from the centre circle rolls it back to Ryan Porteous. His right-footed clearance up over the halfway line. He's met by the heads of Mats Wiever of Feyenoord. And the first Dutch attack of the evening is led by Memphis Depay down the right wing. He's challenged by Jack Henry, another who plays in Saudi Arabia. And the ball goes out of play for a throw-in to Scotland, left full-back position. Pat Nevin.
Just a moment there, the ball breaks in the midfield, came to Billy Gilmour, and the temptation is to go and lump it long, and he thought, no, I'm going to try and play it, as he always does. But he got caught in possession, but it won't change him. His attitude is to get it down, try and play it, and it doesn't matter who he's playing against. You'll expect that from Gilmour.
Billy Gilmour flicks a header back towards Ryan Porteous. Opportunity for Nathan Patterson to get a touch on the far side. Patterson, who's not had much club football recently, was involved in a much publicised incident on a team bonding session with his manager Sean Dyche at Everton. But he's in the starting 11 for Scotland tonight, and I'm sure he'll be keen to get some blood pumping through the legs as he gets a run out here in Amsterdam tonight. Possession with Angus Gunn, Scotland goalkeeper, away to our right-hand side, who is dressed all in yellow. Memphis Depay charges in to put a bit of pressure on him, and Gunn bends down and picks the ball up and looks for a few options. Hendry has actually gone running in behind the goalkeeper, emphasis of how deep Scotland want to try and run this out. Touch for Scott McTominay. Back to Kieran Tierney, who's playing in Spain these days on loan from Arsenal at Real Sociedad. And now a chance for John McGinn to bring Scotland over the halfway line. He rolls the ball in front of Ryan Porteous. And then Patterson gets involved again on the right-hand side. Scotland looking to lay down a marker here, trying to instill a bit of a confident start and let the Netherlands know what they're up against this evening. 0-0 in the opening 2 minutes of the game.
Well, we were chatting before about what might be the big difference. It didn't look, the way it was set up, it would be hugely different. It's much more positive than Scotland would normally be. When they're not in possession at the back there, they were getting McGinn so far up the field. They were getting Christie so far upfield that McTominay was joining them alongside Shandler.
Here come the Dutch. Memphis Depay tries to flick the ball forward towards Xavi Simons, who's been having a great campaign in Germany with Leipzig, but Those two aren't able to combine. Scotland regain possession. Porteous has it on the edge of the penalty area that Scotland defend. He clears it right-footed up towards the halfway line. Nathan Aké of Manchester City jumps and wins it back for the Dutch. Back down on the deck with Gino Wijnaldum. Aké unable though to receive a pass. Good pressure from Shankland as the Dutch are forced back into their own half.
Yeah, it's really quite unusual because when Scotland got the ball, there are a lot more orange shirts in that midfield than there are blue shirts, but Scotland is saying, no, we believe in ourselves, we'll pass it around the back, and if you try and press us, we'll just miss you out. And it's quite brave that, away from home to do that. We will find if it's brave or maybe a bit uncertain of those tactics, because there's a lot of gaps for a lot of good players in there.
Good lead by Kieran Tierney to beat Memphis Depay in the air. Back down on the deck with John McGinn, who comes surging over the halfway line, right-hand side. He's pushed it in front of Nathan Patterson here. Down to the byline, right-hand side as Scotland attack. Patterson cuts back at himself. Now he needs a little bit of support as he finds himself isolated, and good challenge by Liverpool's Cody Gakpo to regain possession for the Netherlands. Still 0-0 on 5 Live in Amsterdam.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's an interesting atmosphere because it does feel indoorsy. They've actually got this huge, massive big roof that's over the top of the pitch here, but it's been a little bit quiet. I think the Dutch fans are expecting their team to excite them first.
It's not only a retractable roof here at the Johan Cruyff Arena, a retractable pitch too. They can take the pitch outside and let the sunlight help it to grow. I mean, such a futuristic stadium this. It's all fancy elevators and escalators as you make your way to your seats. But what always gets me, Pat, is that there is a motorway underneath the pitch. I mean, that just always blows my mind. There's several lanes of traffic whizzing underneath us as we speak. Free kick to Scotland. Attacking position down the right-hand side. It's an in-swinger and it's too close to the goalkeeper, Mark Flekken. And on what is his 7th international cap, that's an easy take for him. He bowls it out to Jeremy Frimpong, who knows all about Scottish football from his time at Celtic. Plays a low ball into the penalty area behind Depay, though, and Kieran Tierney is able to clear the ball away. Frimpong, who's been having a great time at Leverkusen in Germany on the way to the title there. What a season they've been having under Xabi Alonso, and Frimpong's been a big part of that. Here's another Dutchman who knows all about Scottish football, Virgil van Dijk, from his time at Celtic, won the Scottish Premiership title in 2015. Van Dijk with the teal-coloured boots, plays it forward. It's a good ball if it's onside. Gakpo, no flag, is in on goal. Chance for the Netherlands, out comes Gunn. He's made him veer around the long way. That's good goalkeeping. Gakpo unable to get a clean shot away. And then it comes back for what always looked to be a blatant offside. But the officials did wait until the ball had gone dead before that flag was raised.
It was one of those heart-and-mouth moments you thought, he's 2 or 3 yards offside, so you expect the flag to go up, but of course it never will go up there. But Scotland defence done well in the end. I mean, they got back. The keeper made himself very big there. Maybe I've looked at it a second time. It was a wee bit tighter than I thought, but it definitely always looked offside. Interesting again though, Scotland very, very high line, trying to push up. This is not going to be one of those performances where you sit back and try and soak up a bit of pressure. And the last time I was here to watch Scotland play in the stadium against the Dutch, I think it was about 3-0 by now.
Yeah, less said the better of some previous visits here to Amsterdam for the Scots. I mean, to be fair to the officials, that did in real time look to be miles offside for Gakpo. On the replay, it's so tight, and that is why they delay. That was actually marginal in the end. I mean, it was the right decision, but you can see why the official was saying, well, hang on, let's be sure, just in case they were to score. Here comes Scotland, nice exchange of passes. Shankland gives it to Robertson on the left-hand side. He's up level with the edge of the penalty area. Tries to play it in again. Van Dijk jumps with McGinn, and the Liverpool player is able to win the header, but he can't hold on to possession. Patterson has it, gives it to Scott McTominay. It's a wonderful return pass. Chance for Patterson to swing in the cross, and Van Dijk inside the 6-yard box heads it out for a throw-in. That's a very good spell from Scotland. Netherlands 0, Scotland 0, 7 minutes played in Amsterdam.
And that's a way down the Scotland right there. They've got behind that defence a couple of times now. Nathan Aké hasn't get out quick enough at all. Got in behind it, got the crosses, and not been able to get the end of them. But one of the great things for Scotland is that's exactly where all their fans are, so they're enjoying it down there.
Scotland will play Northern Ireland at Hampden on Tuesday. The Northern Irish are up against Romania this evening, and there's been a goal at the National Arena. Naz Premji will tell us about it.
Romania 0, Northern Ireland 1. Great work from Conor Bradley down the right. He found Stevenage striker Jamie Reid on his debut, and Reid made no mistake. Plenty of goals for Stevenage. A first for Northern Ireland. Romania 0, Northern Ireland 1.
Thanks very much. Nice big moment for Jamie Reid, who's worked his way up through non-league football and scoring for senior national team tonight in Romania. We'll keep you up to date with that game, which is also a 7:45 kickoff. 0-0 here in Amsterdam. McTominay makes a burst forward, tried to push off an opponent with his right arm, and the referee has given a free kick to the Dutch. And, well, I mean, there is jeering from both sets of supporters here. I think the Netherlands fans think that that might be worthy of a yellow card, which is brandished. McTominay will say it was a natural movement of his arm, but the referee, Eric Lambrechts from Belgium, has just issued the first yellow card of the evening to Scotland and Manchester United, Scott McTominay.
I have to say, my first reaction was, you know, his hand's going back. You're right, he's trying to push away. But when I watched that second in there, no, it's not vicious. It's really not vicious. But he has caught him in the face. He's made the most of it, as a number of players tend to do just now. A little bit of a shame that, because a big part of McTominay's game is getting in, tackling players, making himself difficult. Now he's already on a yellow card, so he has to be careful.
This month last year, March 2023, Scott McTominay had that wonderful run when he got 4 goals in the space of 2 games. He's become the main goal threat for Scotland in recent times. McGuinness possession, fires onto the pitch from us, tries to hold off Gakpo. He's done very well there, John McGinn, and eventually plays it back to Ryan Porteous. Now Jack Hendry, the central of Scotland's 3 central defenders. On the left-hand side is Kieran Tierney, and he'll turn under pressure from Xavi Simons, and he goes back to the goalkeeper, Angus Gunn. Gunn's clearing straight down the middle, looking for Shankland, who has got Geertruida, the Feyenoord central defender, with him for company. Scotland get it with McGinn inside the centre circle, and there's loads of space here on the left for Robertson. Scotland have found space in wide areas in this opening 10 minutes of the game in Amsterdam. Tierney back into Hendry, back on the halfway line to his right-hand side, Porteous. Cody Gakpo comes up, puts a bit of pressure on Porteous. That was a pass that was a little bit high risk with Memphis Depay putting pressure on Hendry, but Scotland get away with it, and Tierney can roll it back to the goalkeeper again. Again,
very brave, trying to get up there as much as possible. I had a little joke before the game, what would Scotland's system be, and I said maybe Tierney will start overlapping the overlapping fullback. Actually, he's already tried to do it a couple of times, so really good positive start for Scotland, especially wide.
Patterson on the right-hand side, plays a good ball in. Shankland's header, he was a long way out, and it goes over the top of the crossbar. He was between the penalty spot and the edge of the penalty area. It was the bones of 20 yards there, and he tried to flick it over the goalkeeper, and it wasn't a million miles away.
Nathan Ake is not enjoying this, is he? He's been left wide out on his own, and he's got his arms out going, well, wait a minute. If you're going to leave me 2-on-1, it's going to be difficult for me. They've overloaded him a couple of times, Scotland, so the tactic that Stevie Clarke has said, like, OK, you've got 5 at the back, inverted commas, but it's not. The 2 wing-backs are going all the time, but also one of the centre-backs, and sometimes on the right-hand side, is going as well. So I don't think the Dutch were expecting quite this sort of offensive attitude from the Scots, and it's been very heartening so far.
This is an opportunity that Lawrence Shankland of Hearts would have been hoping for, and you know, it's not an easy task. He's up against one of the best defenders in the world in Virgil van Dijk, but Scotland have been doing most of the attacking so far, and here they come again. Robertson charging down the left, good recovery by Jeremy Frimpong, but Robertson's stolen it away from him. Now into the penalty area. Oh, he's put too much on it. He chips it over 3 teammates in the middle. It goes out of the penalty area on the far side. Gilmour has kept it alive. Back to Patterson. Scotland are laying down the early agenda here, away from home against the Netherlands in Amsterdam, as Jack Hendry gets it back near the centre circle again. Scotland keep it moving. Confident start from Steve Clarke's team. McTominay now, midway inside the Dutch half. A good challenge by Rinders, and now a chance from Memphis Depay, and he's stopped by Jack Hendry, who swept across to make the tackle between the centre circle and the penalty area that Scotland defend.
Yeah, really good defending. He didn't dive in. You expected him there. He was one-on-one. You thought he's going to have to do something special here. And he thought, no, I'll take my time. I'll slow himself down. It was a poor touch, was it? Depay going through there. And as soon as that happened, he was in quick, and that was very mature defending.
12 minutes played, 0-0 between the Netherlands and Scotland. Tomorrow we'll bring you England against Brazil. commentary live from Wembley at 7 p.m. on 5 Live. If you're up early in the morning, the Formula One from Melbourne, the Australian Grand Prix qualifying from 5 a.m. Saturday on Sports Extra, the game 4 a.m. Sunday on 5 Live, and you can keep up to date with all the news from there in the Checkered Flag podcast from BBC Sounds. Interception made by Geertruida. The Netherlands have it on the edge of their own penalty area. Xavi Simons gives a countering ball back to Jeremy Frimpong. It's only a second cap for the Leverkusen player. Wearing number 21, he'll turn and roll it infield back to Geertruida again. Some Scotland players hoping to impress to make the final 23. But that'll be the same for the Dutch, and some of these youngsters know that there won't be enough room for all of them in Ronald Koeman's final squad. And because of the COVID around Euro 2020 and it crept into the Qatar World Cup as well, there were bigger squads, but it is back to 23, the old-fashioned number this summer.
It's probably more sensible to do that. So looking at the Dutch, I do think they're a little bit shell-shocked. They start with the face against the Scots here, and the Scots are playing such an incredibly high line. It's just so unusual, for Stevie Clarke's side to do this against a top side. It's usually much cagier, very intelligent a lot of the time. But it is one of those ones that he's just said, look, give it a go. Let's see how this comes out. It's a friendly. If it doesn't work, we can change it. I tell you what, he's not thinking of changing it at the moment, Stevie Clarke.
It is a friendly, but it's got that big match feel. This feels like a game at a major tournament. As possession is won back by Jack Hendry for Scotland. Back to Angus Gunn, who'll chip it out towards Nathan Patterson. Scotland are being brave in how they're doing things. They're trying to play their way out, and they're succeeding in the main as Cody Gakpo's high press doesn't do anything. Aki nearly wins it back for the Dutch. Porteous on the edge of the Scotland penalty area, and there's the mistake. That's what the Dutch were hoping for. He's given the ball away to Rinders, who'll break into the penalty area left-hand side, but well challenged by Nathan Patterson, and Scotland should be able to clear away here. Shanklin unable to hold it up, and Wijnaldum, good midfield general work to spray it out to the right wing and to Jeremy Frimpong, who moves up midway into Scotland territory once again. Scotland have had a good start, but they've got to keep it up.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that because there will be periods this game that the Dutch have a lot of the ball. Big call about Shanklin at the moment. I mean, he's played a few internationals, but he needs to show that he's capable of holding the ball up a little bit better than he's done so far, but it's early days yet in this game.
Good interception by Andy Robertson, who plays a 1-2 with Billy Gilmour in the midfield. Robertson, who's weaved from a left full-back position over to the right wing. Patterson comes to join him, and he's outfoxed himself there, Nathan Patterson. He's running onto a pass that's played in front of him. He knows that Nathan Aki is there, and he tries to sell it to me by sort of sprinting over the ball so that Aki would drop back, and actually in doing so, the ball went out of play, and a big cheer from the Dutch supporters as the Netherlands regain possession. Scotland's possession, Pat, over 60% for this opening quarter of an hour. Steve Clarke will be delighted for that away from home.
And it's not just possession in their own half. I mean, possession in their own half now, we're passing about the back. I would not be over impressed by that, but it's not. It's been in good areas. They've got down the right hand side and the left hand side. The wing backs are getting forward, and you get Billy Gilmour playing central midfield there. And if you've got him in your team, generally you will have decent possession because that is what he is good at. That's what he's all about. And he's a player that I think the Dutch would enjoy having in their team.
Xavi Simons runs into a 50-50 challenge with Ryan Christie, who wallops him away fairly and wins possession briefly for Scotland. The Dutch get it back with Nathan Aki, wearing number 5, 43rd cap for him. He's never played senior club football here in his homeland, Nathan Aki. He joined the Chelsea Academy as a young kid, representing his national team here, and he's an important part of the setup. The treble winner with Manchester City last season. Aki still has possession. White boots on tonight. Rolls it to the right-hand side to Geertruida. Under pressure from Christie, he retreats back to Virgil van Dijk. The Dutch haven't quite looked as comfortable in possession in these early stages of the game as their visitors. Geertruida again turns under pressure from Christie and retreats back to Mark Flecken, the goalkeeper, once more.
I mean, some of the players you look at out there, in the orange strips, you think, do you really want to play a high-tempo, high-paced game just now? Because Scotland are playing it as if it's like they're in the Euros. Exactly what you said. Billy Gilmour's got it again.
Here comes Gilmour, attacking down the right-hand side. Swings in a good right-footed cross and a header that goes back off the crossbar. Shanklin isn't able to respond. Ryan Christie threw himself at it. It walloped off his forehead. It then hit the crossbar, and Scotland within a whisker of taking the lead in Amsterdam. Gilmour's break down the right was just right, and such a good delivery of the cross too, and Scotland are playing the better football in Amsterdam at the moment.
Well, the better football, the more dangerous football, the more positive as well. They're just getting wide easy. And I mentioned earlier on, Nathan Ake, he's getting destroyed down the right-hand side. I'm not sure it's all his fault, because he's got two players running onto him. Patterson's flying onto him, he's got McGinn flying onto him. On that occasion there, it was Billy Gilmour came from deep to fly onto that area. So it's getting lots and lots of fun. They're so unlucky with that one today.
I've just seen the replay, and it's a brilliant save by Mark Flecken. The Brentford goalkeeper pushes that onto the crossbar. The header was really good from Ryan Christie, who ironically hasn't scored at all in the Premier League this season for Bournemouth. He got one goal in the League Cup. He came so close to scoring there. I mean, he planted it exactly where he would have wanted to, but Flecken was able to touch it onto the crossbar and make an excellent save.
Oh, that is it's top drawer. You think about it, it's a flying header, it's at full pace, he's got everything behind it, he's only heading it from 6 yards. Keeper has no right to get near that one. That is a brilliant save.
Fantastic save, and it's not one of those that was directly above him. He had to get over to the right-hand side to make the stop. Very important save for the Dutch to keep this game at 0-0. Almost 19 minutes played. Flecken, who's wearing all green, has possession away to our left. He goes long this time, looking for Cody Gakpo. Jumping in the air with Patterson. Gakpo wins the header. Memphis Depay has played a lovely ball forward. Here's Gini Wijnaldum into the penalty area. Cuts back at himself. Nice movement, but Hendry did well to keep goal side, and there was no angle for the shot. The Dutch still have it with Frimpong on the right-hand side. Steps into the penalty area. Two defenders squaring up to him, so it's back to Mats Wiefer. Scotland have got bodies back behind the ball here. They're defending on the edge of their own penalty area. Xavi Simons looks up. He's fully 20 yards outside the box now. Gives it to Ake on the left-hand side. Back to Gakpo, who'll try to break in. That's a good ball. And Tierney backpedaling, heads it. Frimpong back into the centre. McTominay here should clear. And he's very cool under pressure. There's Scott McTominay. He didn't just blast it away. He's played it out, and Scotland hold on to possession. Christie plays a 1-2 with McTominay. Back into the Netherlands half. He'll roll it to the right-hand side. Patterson comes forward. That was a bit better from the Dutch, but no shot at the end of it, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and just the way Scotland got back, you said it yourself, there were 5 defenders there, 4 midfielders in front of it. It was hard to break through. Now there's quality players, particularly up front for the Dutch, but they're not being given a lot of space, are they? And when Scotland broke away there, it was McTominay. He is bestriding that midfield. He just walks in away from 3 and 4 players at a time.
Scotland come forward again, but the ball runs away from Christie this time and through to Mark Flecken, the Dutch goalkeeper. Again, the Netherlands, who lost both of their qualifying games against France. They were in that group B, but they won every other game in the group to go through as runners-up behind the French. This is Geertruida, who still plays his club football with his hometown team Feyenoord. He's club captain there. Ake, under pressure from John McGinn, plays it back in field to Virgil van Dijk, who's captaining his country for the 48th time tonight. And then dropping deep in the midfield, Wiefer. Scotland win it back again. There's been a pattern where the Dutch haven't been quite as assured in their passing as you would expect, particularly at home in Amsterdam, and Scotland have made so many little interceptions. They're making life difficult for Ronald Koeman's team at the moment. Good jump by Geertruida there, and the ball goes out for a Scotland throw on the halfway line. 20 minutes in.
Do you know one of the things, if Scotland are going to win games against top level sides, they have to be at it. They have to be 100%. They have to be flying into every tackle. They can't cruise at any point, and no player can cruise. Other teams maybe can do that to some degree, they can. And sometimes that would worry you about Scotland in a friendly. In actual fact, Stevie Clarke just seems to always get them just about that 100%. They really have started flying tonight, haven't they?
And Christie plays it to John McGinn. This is about 10 yards outside the Dutch penalty area. Tierney gets involved closer to the halfway line. Robertson's first time ball inside. There's been an incisiveness to Scotland. They're not taking unnecessary touches here, and the frustration spill over as Xavi Simons comes in late on Andy Robertson, and that's a free kick exactly where Scotland would want it. Crossing position on the left-hand side, and it's forcing the Dutch back again. Netherlands 0, Scotland 0 on 5 Live from the BBC.
And a chance for Scotland to get the ball in the box. I mean, it's a long way out here, and it's very, very wide. Halfway down the left-hand side. So, you know, it's a lot of distance to go in. You've tried to get the ball past the likes of Van Dijk. But Scotland have got some height in there as well. Not the least McTominay.
It's going to be an in-swinger from Billy Gilmour, the Brighton midfielder. Plays it in towards the penalty area. Van Dijk jumps around the penalty spot. Wins the header under a lot of pressure there. He'd opponents jumping all over him. Memphis Depay will skip away from Ryan Christie. And he's played a glorious ball over to the far side. And then a stumble at the key moment. It was Jeremy Frimpong who was breaking forward, having defended the corner, and just as the ball came to him, he's lost his balance, otherwise he might have been in for a shot.
Yeah, when Scotland do put so many players up for corners and for free kicks there and chase forward, you do know that if the keeper gets it, or any defenders get it, there's going to be a break on. They are quick, and Scotland have left themselves really light at the back in every one of these occasions. And just there was a moment when, I think it was Christie, nearly wiped out the players who was running away. Definitely yellow card. He should have actually got it. Other than a friendly, he probably would have got it. And that's the danger Scotland have got tonight. Playing this positive, there's every chance you can get broken on by a good team.
We are midway through the first half in Amsterdam. Scotland, who have hit the woodwork, they have come the closest to an opening goal here. Let's check back in with events in Romania. Romania against Northern Ireland. Here's Naz Premji.
The home side level, Romania 1, Northern Ireland 1. Lovely ball and lovely control from Dennis Mann. Took a turn and the shot was too hot to handle from inside the box for Conor Hazard. It's Romania 1, Northern Ireland 1.
Thanks very much, Naz. England against Brazil, live from Wembley tomorrow on 5 Live. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. You can listen to the game in full right here. Billy Gilmour has possession for Scotland. Inside the centre circle, gives it back to Tierney. Good accurate ball up to Ryan Christie. And it really is. We've mentioned it quite a lot, but it's worth repeating how confident these Scotland players look. The first touches have been good, spraying the balls around, asking questions of illustrious opponents as McGinn picks out Patterson wide on the right-hand side. Midway into Dutch territory, Gilmour goes out to give him a hand. Aki's the nearest defender. Lovely back heel from Gilmour. Patterson tried to bring it with him infield, and little important touch by Wijnaldum will win it back for the Dutch. And let's see if they can break away from the edge of their own penalty area. Frimpong doesn't fancy it. He turns and rolls it back to the goalkeeper Flecken, who under pressure from Shankland is forced to go long, but it's a good accurate clearance. Control near the centre circle by Memphis Depay of Atletico Madrid. Frimpong will come forward now on the right-hand side. Plays a pass in towards Rinders, slightly behind Rinders, who's not able to control it. The Milan midfielder, 7th cap for him this evening, and then a foul on John McGinn means a free kick to Scotland, still 0-0 here.
It's one of those fouls on John McGinn. We've seen it a million times before. Puts his backside out, waits for the hit and goes down. And to be honest, the amount of players that fall for that is incredible. The amount of referees that fall for it is incredible as well, to be honest. But Scotland keep on getting that position out on that right-hand side. And maybe the question, well, we'll tell you that in a minute.
Here comes McGinn, attacking down the right-hand side for Scotland. Patterson coming for support, but using all his experience, Virgil van Dijk just cruises over. He saw that pass before it was even made. Wonderful anticipation as he wins the ball for the Dutch, but they don't hold on to it, and Scotland get it back again.
Really comfortable on the ball, winning it back, pressing them all over the field. Doesn't matter where the Dutch have got the ball, just don't let them relax on the ball. And Dutch are hating it, and Scotland, they're really unlucky, because if Scotland had got that goal with a great save by Flecken, with the confidence that would be steering through this Scotland team would be incredible. I was going to make a point earlier on the right hand side, Patterson's flying up, isn't he, all the time. Gakpo's not going with them. Now if I'm Aki, I'm saying get back here and follow your man, but maybe he's been told, yeah, let him go, you can play in the break, but it's causing all sorts of problems to that Dutch defence.
Free kick to Scotland. It's between the centre circle and the edge of the penalty area they attack. Billy Gilmour standing over it. Ryan Christie is there too. The Dutch have brought all 11 players back behind the ball to defend. And it's going to be Gilmour leaving it for Christie. Little rehearse move as it's dinked down the left wing to the waiting Andy Robertson, who hoisted in. Not for the first time tonight. Robertson might have put a little bit too much on that. It's been kept alive well. Gilmour was ready to take a shot, but Memphis Depay nipped in and made the interception just to unsettle Scotland, but he didn't win the ball back. Patterson's cross in from the right-hand side. Headed down by Wiefer. Scotland come again. Shankland, little bit of ball juggling skills on the edge of the penalty area. It almost fell for Scott McTominay, and the Netherlands are relieved to clear it away, but it's all Scotland in Amsterdam still 0-0.
Yeah, they are. And actually, the referee has to get out of the way. He's taken some odd positions up. 3 times in that move, he got in the way of Scotland trying to shoot.
Cushion touch by Ryan Porteous, who's remained up in the attack from that recent Scotland free kick. Tierney, little cut ball into Christie, who can't control it, and Depay out to Wijnaldum, and a chance of a breakaway for the Dutch. Scotland have pushed a lot of bodies forward. This is Xavi Simons, tries a trick that doesn't work against Tierney, and Scotland close that attack down immediately. Steve Kirk will be very pleased. His team have been brave. They all went forward there, but they were able to get back in time.
You're expecting a lot more pace from the Dutch when they break. They get into great positions and think, right, okay, you may able to use all that little bit of pace you've got, but also the extra man you've got there. They've not done it. They've not looked like doing it. I think Stevie Clarke knows what he's doing against this group of players that are out there just now.
McTominay rolls one in front of Shanklin into the penalty area. Good recovery by Hertrauda to get in ahead of him, and the Dutch have it inside their own box. Touch by Wiefer. Back to Hertrauda, and eventually Flecken says enough of that, and he blasts it away up towards the halfway line, and he picks out Cody Gakpo. Yesterday, Scotland's under-21s had a good 4-1 win over Kazakhstan. That was in Paisley. It's been a good international week so far for the home nations under-21 teams. Wales beat Lithuania earlier on today. England were 5-1 winners away in Azerbaijan. And the Republic of Ireland put 7 past San Marino. That's all in the qualifiers for the Euro Under-21 Championship. The Netherlands have possession here in Amsterdam. 0-0, Scotland the visitors at the Johan Cruyff Arena tonight. Hertrauda, Frimpong, 10 yards short of the Scotland penalty area. Tries a turn on Robertson, who's seen that little shake of the hips before, and he stretches out the Liverpool number 3 and puts it out for a throw-in to the Dutch on the right-hand side. Robertson, number 3 for Scotland, and the captain's armband on his arm as well. Simons gives it away in the midfield. Porteous back to Patterson, and eventually back to Norwich City's Angus Gunn. Good touch by McGinn in the midfield after Gunn's clearance. McTominay tried to take it with him. Wijnaldum was able to nip in first, and McTominay, who's fouled him, has got to be careful. The Manchester United man already on a yellow card.
Yeah, he's not changed his game, has he? He's done exactly the same things. He's gone in for the tackles. He's been a very, very robust midfielder, and it's going to be a dangerous thing, but it is a friendly. Would have to do something pretty serious, I think, to get sent off today.
Oh, Memphis Depay thought he was through. He was challenged by McTominay. The referee had blown the whistle, and it's going to be a free kick to Scotland and a yellow card for Memphis Depay there. I wonder, was that for the challenge, or is that for something he said in the reaction to it, because Depay thought he was through? He's caught McTominay, and maybe a bit of retribution being doled out there by Memphis Depay. Former Manchester United teammates, of course.
That's harsh. Again, we've got another little look at it here. He's done a little dribble there. The studs are showing, but he gets the ball as clean as a whistle. Absolutely clean as a whistle. And because it's popped off the top of the ball, it's hit the opponent's foot when it's popped off. It's really a harsh.
Yeah, on the replay you can see why the referee has given it. Memphis Depay stamps down on the ball, which was fair enough at the time, but then it slips off the ball and lands onto the standing foot of McTominay, and that's where the other tackles are going in. Now, we mentioned earlier, this doesn't really feel like a friendly, and some of the challenges going in at the moment certainly suggest that.
But watch here, there's a tackle here. Up at the far right-hand side, Patterson's in miles of space. He was through it almost on goal. I cannot believe the Dutch are not doing anything about this.
Nathan Ake, who, will be no shirking violent, and I'm sure he's been bellowing, looking for some assistance, but he finds himself outnumbered regularly. He's coming forward in the attack this time, Ake. Plays the ball in field towards Memphis Depay, the Dutch number 10. Back to Ake, who's continued his way forward into an attacking role now. And Scotland have got the bodies back. Everyone apart from Shanklin. In fact, even Shanklin now back behind the ball as well. And Scotland create a barrier for the Netherlands to try and break through. But Ronald Koeman's team have hardly been inside the penalty area that Scotland are defending so far tonight, whereas Scotland have been with regularity into the box down the other end. Half an hour played.
And the other thing, you expect them completely and utterly to control the possession, and they haven't done that either. So everything that you expected, you'd have read about, you've been told about beforehand in this game, it's not happened yet. But one other thing's happened. You're absolutely right. Scotland will not be holding back in the tackles.
Christie doesn't hold back there, and his old Celtic teammate Jeremy Frimpong, he's crunched in on him. Free kick to the Netherlands inside Scotland territory. In fact, you look at the clubs that these players play for: Brentford goalkeeper, Liverpool defenders, Manchester City, El Ettifaq, Feyenoord, Leipzig. Do you know what's missing, Pat Nevin, from this Dutch national team? As Depay has it on the edge of the penalty area. Gakpo goes down to the box. Netherlands wants a penalty. It seemed a convincing shout, but the Belgian referee immediately said no.
But can I say, well done, Cody Gakpo. I think he said, no, it wasn't. He's tried to drag his leg and hoping to catch something. And as he's got up, he's went, no. So, give you that, Cody. Well done, mate.
Wow.
It's good when you see that sort of thing happening. He was looking for it, and he was trying to leave his legs out, and he has dived, and he's apologised. But he should still get a yellow card.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... we did see that recently. Kai Havertz. Yeah. Very, very similar.
Gakpo is thinking, if there is any touch on the way down here, it'll look very convincing. But McTominay was able to just pull his legs back at the key moment. We do have VAR tonight. All the match officials are from Belgium, and they were able to very quickly agree with the on-field decision, which was no penalty. So we were saying, what is missing from the Dutch national team in terms of their clubs, Pat?
No Ajax players.
Correct. And it is the first time in almost 30 years that there is no Ajax player in the squad. Here come the touch again. Gakpo, low ball into the penalty area. Couldn't pick out Xavi Simons. And Angus Gunn quickly off his goal line is able to sprint out and pick it up. Little improvement from the host just in recent minutes. They're beginning to get in around the Scotland penalty area.
A little bit more from Depay, definitely a little bit more from Gakpo. He's not doing anything going back to help his mates at the back, but when he gets the ball in the last third, and certain Liverpool fans know this well enough, he's got real class on the ball, and he just flies, cruises over that midfield area to forward.
Here comes Scotland again. McTominay pushes it in front of Ryan Christie, level with the edge of the area, plays in a good ball. McGinn tries to flick it on with his shin, and he puts it just over the top. It's another dangerous Scotland attack. Christie's low ball in. McGinn, without breaking stride, tried to just flick it on in that natural gait of his run, but it tops its way over the crossbar.
It's quite regular that the Dutch side play with a back three these days. It's sort of a 3-4-2-1 or whatever, 3-4-1-2. But they've gone for a pretty static back four here.
Chance for Scotland again. Christie into the penalty area. Van Dijk stretched, but he couldn't get a touch on the ball. Here is Billy Gilmore. Christie again, still in the box, plays it in. Shankland, little nudge by Van Dijk as the ball came in, using all his experience, the Liverpool captain, and the ball goes over Shankland and out for a goal kick to the Netherlands. Still 0-0, 10 minutes to the break.
Great spot, Conor McNamara. Brilliant defending, wasn't it? It was absolutely phenomenal. And, Shankland's come on here, and he's playing against a top class, and he's got himself in a position that I suspect most of the time in Scotland, in the Premier League, he'll go and score. But he's playing against Virgil van Dijk, who's in a bad position, but he knows how to make up for it, and that little nudge was genius from Van Dijk.
And they hope that genius can help them in Euro 2024 in the summer. Scotland, we mentioned, playing Northern Ireland in a friendly on Tuesday. That night, the Dutch will take on the Euro 2024 hosts. It's a high-profile game. Netherlands against Germany on Tuesday as they continue their preparations. And these March internationals are so important for all the national coaches, because there isn't much other room that they'll squeeze in 1 or 2 games before the tournament itself starts. But this is really, in terms of before the squads are named, this is the big opportunity to impress.
There's a couple of players throwing themselves at the ground here. It's a bit, Simons has done it there. Frimpong before, making far too much of it. And as I say that...
Yeah, that's going to be a yellow card for John McGinn, and he probably would have got a yellow card at Murrayfield playing in the Six Nations for that rugby tackle. He puts his arms around Cody Gakpo. It's going to get booked for that, John McGinn. I wonder, was it worth it? Was there that much danger there that he had to do that?
No, he shouldn't have done it. Absolutely shouldn't. And it's a real shame, because he's done very well so far. All the Scotland players have done well so far, but 2 of the players in the midfield have now been booked. And they can't hang off it. They can't play a different game where it's calm and just passing slowly around and not making the tackles. Scotland become an average team when they do that.
Free kick to the Netherlands. 37 minutes on the big stadium clock. The Johan Cruyff Arena under the closed roof in Amsterdam. Xavi Simons is giving himself a long run up here. Surely it's too far out to shoot. Scotland holding a line. Look at them, they all sprint out, trying to catch the Dutch offside. The flag didn't go up. Well, that was really interesting. As Simons ran up to take the free kick, en masse, the Scottish players all sprinted out. And I wonder, would they have caught the Dutch offside?
I was slightly concerned there because somebody didn't get the memo. And if you get all your players sprinting out and one not, and I was trying to see who it was, whether it was Hendry or it was possibly Porteous as well, chased back in there. No. When you hear the call, there'll be a message, get out.
Now, what's your view on this, Pat Evan? This is obviously a warm-up game ahead of a major tournament. What is the advantage of Scotland trying a little trick, defensive thing like that? Surely now, any team they're going to come up against are thinking Scotland might do that, so let's see if we can take advantage. Why would you show your cards ahead of the tournament with something like that unusual?
See if you do that and you run out like that, every team that plays against you now will have that in their mind. That can actually be a horrible thing because you think, they're going to run
jeopardy.
out. So in a way, you know when you're going to run out, but they don't. So it's as long as you understand when you're going to do it, and even if you never do it again, other teams will be affected by that. So I don't actually think that's a bad thing to do it. In fact, I would suggest this is exactly the right time to do it and hope it gets seen.
Bit of reverse psychology from the cunning Scots, who are doing well here in Amsterdam tonight. 0-0, Netherlands 0, Scotland 0. Cody Gakpo does a little Cruyff turn. If you're going to do a Cruyff turn anywhere, this is the stadium to do it. He does it in the left back position, spins away from Billy Gilmour and helps his team break up to the halfway line. This is Mats Wiefer to the right hand side to Jeremy Frimpong, 10 yards from the byline. Tierney backpedaling away from him. Back to Wiefer again. Infield now to Rinders, 12 yards or so outside the penalty area. The Dutch playing from left to right as we look down. Frimpong, who's a box of tricks, takes on Robertson. Robertson holds him up well, but support is available from Mats Wiefer. The Dutch are finishing this first half much better than they started it. 0-0, but Scotland still having had the best opportunity of the game so far. Frimpong, just outside the penalty area on the right-hand side. Rinders, infield to Xavi Simons, who's not had much of the ball in the final third tonight. Van Dijk comes forward to help out the midfield. He'll pick out his Liverpool colleague, Cody Gakpo on the left wing. Gakpo running against Everton's Nathan Patterson. Back in field, chance of a shot. What a goal! Tijjani Rinders from well outside the penalty area has planted it to the top corner. And the first big test for Angus Gunn tonight ends up in the back of the net. That's a brilliant goal for the Dutch. 5 minutes to go to half-time. It's the Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. It's a first ever international goal for Tijjani Rinders of AC Milan.
Do you know what? As you were doing the commentary on up to that, they changed the pace, didn't they? They zipped it about the Dutch. It's if they waited towards the half-time and thought, right, okay, enough of this. We need to move this about a bit. So they zipped it about. Scotland were chasing down though. But the time they created that gap, he's still 25, 30 yards out, maybe as much as that. And it has to be perfect. He has nailed it into the top corner there. And no surprising, if you look at the television screens down here in front of us, they went straight on to the Dutch manager. He scored one or two of them himself.
Ronald Koeman, who, for any younger listeners who maybe only know him as a manager, he was a fantastic player in his day. And as a central defender, he scored an inordinate amount of goals. He'd almost 250 goals in his career. He would have enjoyed hitting a shot as Pat illustrates from that sort of distance. So how is Scotland going to react to that? Steve Clarke's team, who've played so well here for 35-40 minutes, but Rinders' moment of pure quality, hands down the best thing we've seen from the Dutch, has given Ronald Koeman's team the lead.
Yeah, that might be a tough one to take for the Scots, but when you see real quality, you put your hands up and say, right, okay, that's fabulous. The way they held the ball on, and maybe the biggest concern is, I've been looking at the Dutch and thinking, do you really fancy it all the way through that? And then the minute, and I mean a minute, that they decide, yeah, we fancy it, we're going to up the pressure, suddenly, ball's in the back of the net, and a great move and a brilliant goal.
Tijjani Rinders, who's got 3 goals this season in Italy with AC Milan. He scored earlier on this month against Slavia Prague in the Europa League. And he's got his first international goal here. Here comes Scott McTominay on the charge for Scotland. Gets to the edge of the penalty area. Tried to pull it back for Shankland. Difficult one to receive. Gilmour has won it again off Van Dijk and tries to cross. Van Dijk recovers well and puts it out for a corner. Just when the move appeared to have broken down. Gilmour tried to resuscitate it, and he's been able to win a corner for his team.
Well, you asked the question, how will Scotland react to that? Well, that's how they're going to react to it. They're going to keep on doing exactly the same things. McTominay again, striding away for the entire midfield and defence of the Dutch here. But Shankland, I feel so sorry for him. He keeps on making the same runs, but it just won't fall to his feet to give him one clear-cut chance.
So the corner will be taken right-hand side as Scotland come forward. Played in by John McGinn. Header one of the front post, comes down to Gilmour. There was no room to get a proper swing of his boot and shoot. He tried to flick it onto a teammate. The Dutch are able to clear away, and Robertson just shepherds the ball out of play, knowing it'll be a Scotland throw on the left-hand side. Throw in taken by Tierney. Tierney and Robertson working in tandem for Scotland on the left-hand side. Frimpong gets back and makes a challenge. It goes out right by the corner flag, and I'm assuming on the throw-in side of the corner flag.
Definitely.
So throw into Scotland.
Yeah, interesting though, we're talking about a lot of Scotland's play. The best stuff's come down the right, and considering Scotland have got their two best players, arguably two of the best players on this left-hand side, in Tierney and Robertson, actually the very best of the play has been the right-hand side, and Patterson's been superb, and McGinn obviously has done well down that sort of space as well. So a bit of a surprise that Scotland are so strong now on both wings.
Scotland are experiencing the reality of top-level international football, where even when you play really well, the opponents can pull a moment of brilliance out of the hat and punish you. And for all Steve Clarke's team's achievements, they trail in Amsterdam under the closed roof. Christie tries to flick it onto Shankland, and here Trouda is able to hook it away over his shoulder up towards Xavi Simons, who's got no room to manoeuvre, and he's played a really dodgy pass back to here Trouda, who was just about able to react ahead of Shankland and play it back to the goalkeeper Mark Flecken.
Yeah, I mean, Shankland's chasing everything now. The energy levels of Scotland have been brilliant. High up the field, you wonder where some of the players are playing. Gilmour almost looks like a centre forward sometimes. He's going in the right wing, and he's supposed to be a deepest line controlling midfielder, but the energy levels have been fantastic, which then begs another question: how long can you keep that up for?
Mistake here by Patterson. He's given it away to Cody Gakpo. Gakpo inside the centre circle, rolls it for here Trouda. Little 1-2 again, and so Rinders gets a touch, and the Dutch have got a swagger about them now. The goal came in the 40th minute. It was just about the time when the Dutch fans were beginning to, grumble a little bit and wonder why their team isn't on top. But the goal has completely changed the mood, and it's got that celebratory tone that they had earlier on in the game, as the Dutch are enjoying this display now as Memphis Depay comes on the attack. It's going to be Gakpo to the edge of the area. Flecken comes out. Depay was infield of him. Gakpo wasn't able to play it back inside, and Gunn did well. Knew he couldn't afford to try and handle it there. He's kicked it out for a throw.
He was brave there, and he took a chance, Gunn, didn't he? But you know when it works and you get it right and you time it right. The big thing about Gunn, he comes out there, he could have come out and wiped everyone out. He didn't. He came out and assessed the situation and made the right decision. That's quite calm goalkeeping.
Ryan Porteous of Watford clears the ball away for Scotland. We've moved into stoppages at the end of the first half. One solitary minute being added on to a game that has flown by. There haven't been any unnecessary delays. We've had 3 bookings in the match, just showing the competitive nature of the fixture. And it hasn't really felt like a friendly in Amsterdam at all tonight. Here is Xavi Simons, the Dutch leading thanks to Tijjani Rinders' goal. Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. Here is Rinders in possession, giving it to Xavi Simons on the left, taken on by Wiefer. He's made a charge into the penalty area, and Kieran Tierney had to sweep across from his position on the left to make a last-gasp challenge, and Scotland are able to clear the ball away. But Scotland not holding on to it now, up around the halfway line as easy as they were earlier in the match. Wijnaldum with some tricky feet, gives it to Memphis Depay. The angle is tight, he's turning back, he's trying to get a better shooting angle. Good defending by Patterson, and now McTominay needs to act quickly, and he's so casual, McTominay, as he tries to play it out of the penalty area again, and the referee blows the whistle for half-time, and it's the Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. That was a good 45 minutes of international football, Pat Nevin.
Certainly was. Dutch surprised me, but they put under pressure. Scotland played at a high tempo, passed the ball well, and just didn't let them settle in any way at all. Okay, they roused themselves a bit 5 minutes before half-time. Scotland, great positions, particularly right-hand side, but also down the left-hand side as well. But Stevie Clarke was talking before the game, he was going to do something slightly different. Well, it's clear what the difference was. Let's go and attack. We're away against the top team, but we're not going to sit back. We're going to take chances. We're going to be a bit risky in this one. And okay, it might not have worked because you're 1-0 down, but they're so unlucky. Christie could easily have scored. Brilliant save by Flecken, and even Shankland in the follow-up, he was close to scoring. So Scotland players will walk off here, and although the Dutch will be very happy they 1-0 up, I don't think the Scotland players will be walking up too disappointed with this at the moment.
Scotland are still very much in it. The goal by Tijani Rinders, but many positives for Steve Clarke's team. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops in the second 45 minutes. For now, though, Netherlands 1, Scotland 0, Aaron.
Connor, Pat, thank you. Let's bring in the Scotland women's captain, Rachel Coursey, who's with us on 5 Live Sport this evening. And Rachel, wow, they don't deserve that, do they, Scotland? But you're going to get punished by quality players and with quality moments.
Yeah, you are. They definitely don't deserve that. I've been very impressed. I think it's been a really good half for Scotland. Obviously, not based on the scoreline, of course, but I feel we've really been on the front foot. You know, stats back that up. I think, you know, Christie's effort, the save's magnificent from Flecken. But other than that, I think just the nature of the pressure, I think McTominay's been very effective, Christie's been very effective too. And McGinn's probably been a little bit quieter than we're used to seeing him, and we're probably, you know, hearing the guys in commentary, I think Shankland probably feels like as you're watching it, he's not as involved as he'd like to be, but you can absolutely guarantee that the work that he's putting in as part of that front press is massively important to areas that then we've been able to win the ball back. So aside from the scoreline, hugely impressive.
What about Andy Robertson on that left-hand side? It feels though, it looks like the old Andy Robertson playing for Scotland, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we always just expect that from him, which, as you said, is probably a little bit tough on him because he's obviously spent a few weeks out. I know he's been back a couple of weeks now in the Liverpool team, but he had a tough time with his injury, and obviously coming back in, it doesn't look like he's skipped a beat at all. He brings that energy. He's a very important player to the team on and off the pitch, of course, but yeah, he's got down the outside as well. I think Patterson's got in behind as well on the right hand side too. I think this system just very much suits the group of players and the success we've had with it now. I think this is why Steve Clarke doesn't change it too much, because the players he has to play in these positions deliver very consistently.
They are. Rachel, thank you for the moment. So Scotland a goal behind in Amsterdam. Northern Ireland were a goal ahead in Bucharest. It is half-time. Naz Premji can bring us the latest.
Romania 1, Northern Ireland 1, Aaron here. Michael O'Neill will be pleased with how his side have acquitted themselves at the National Arena in Bucharest. They had a dream start, 7 minutes in. Conor Bradley with a super run down the right-hand side. Found Shea Charles, who squared to Jamie Reid, and the Stevenage striker inside the box finished superbly on his debut. Romania got level with their first shot on target 23 minutes in. Dennis Mann, the Parma winger, in the box. Lovely turn and shot. The shot was too hot for Conor Hazard to handle. He got a touch but couldn't keep it out, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper. He'll be disappointed with that. Great game so far. Romania 1, Northern Ireland 1.
Naz, thank you. It's time for the news here on BBC Radio 5 Live now with Nick Hatfield.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. The Princess of Wales has revealed that she has been treated for cancer. Catherine stepped back from royal duties when she had abdominal surgery in January. Speaking in a video message recorded at Windsor, she explained how the cancer was spotted.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who've taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery. At this time, I'm also thinking of all those whose lives have been affected by cancer. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
Well, as Catherine said there, she has asked for time, space and privacy so she can focus on making a full recovery. Here's our medical editor, Fergus Walsh.
We are not being told what type of cancer this is, nor what stage it was caught at. Now, both of those are crucial factors, and I'm not going to speculate on either of those, but the tone of the Princess of Wales statement is very positive in terms of recovery. What we have been told is that the cancer was found after she had this successful abdominal surgery, and it was discovered once the post-operative tests had been completed and the results had been reviewed. Now, she is now undergoing a course of what she described as preventative chemotherapy.
The Princess of Wales's cancer diagnosis follows weeks of speculation about her health. Numerous reports, many of them false, have appeared on social media. Ben Lord is a royal expert and commentator.
This is a deeply shocking announcement from Kensington Palace. I don't think any of us could have imagined not only two high-profile members of the royal family enduring a cancer diagnosis, as we know with His Majesty the King, but it's the fact that over and above that, that has been conveyed to us in a completely unprecedented manner, with the Princess of Wales taking the steps to broadcast that in a dedicated video message to the public.
Well, the King says he's so proud of Catherine for her courage in speaking about her treatment. Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, say they wish health and healing for Kate and the family and hope they are able to do so privately and in peace. Rishi Sunak has praised Catherine's tremendous bravery, and the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said she had the love and support of the whole nation. In other news this evening, the Russian security services say at least 40 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in an attack on a concert hall near Moscow. Gunfire and explosions were heard at the Crocus venue, which is on fire with people trapped inside. Videos on social media show armed men in camouflage. The White House security spokesman is John Kirby.
The images are just horrible and just hard to watch, and our thoughts obviously are going to be with the victims of this terrible, terrible shooting attack. We're taking a look at it, but I would disabuse you at this early hour of any connection to Ukraine.
And the US has accused Russia and China of cynically blocking a plan for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The proposal, which involved the release of hostages by Hamas, was put before the UN Security Council, but vetoed by Moscow and Beijing.
Choosing what to watch.
Night after night.
The flicking through.
The endless searching. It's a nightmare.
We want to help you.
On our brand new podcast, Off the Telly, we share what we've been watching. Gladiators.
Real people, loads of games, loads of fun, loads of screaming. Lovely.
Off the Telly with me, Joanna Page.
And me, Natalie Cassidy. So your evenings can be a little less searching.
And a lot more watching.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, welcome back to 5 Live Sport, where at half-time it's Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. Tomorrow we're going to be at Wembley for England's friendly against Brazil. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff and it'll be live and in full here on 5 Live Sport. Harry Kane, Cole Palmer and Jordan Henderson will miss the match. And in the last hour, the England manager, Gareth Southgate, has been speaking to our football correspondent, John Murray.
Gareth, first of all, I do need to ask you about the whole issue of the little flag on the new shirts. Is this storm in a teacup? What do you make of it? And actually, I suppose the news that we've had this evening from the Princess of Wales has actually served very much to put everything into perspective, has it not?
Well, very much so. And clearly our thoughts and best wishes with the Princess of Wales and all of her family. It does give everything perspective. You're absolutely right. In terms of your question, yeah, I mean, it's also for me quite a long way down my list of priorities in terms of the shirt. Yeah, I understand people's feelings towards the flag of St George, so I certainly understand that. Yeah, I'm sure people will debate everything else, but I've got enough on with dealing with everything this week, really.
How are the four who couldn't train when we were there on Wednesday morning? Obviously, Bukayo Saka has gone back to Arsenal. What about the others?
Yeah, no, the others won't be involved tomorrow. So no Harry Kane, no Jordan Henderson, no Cole Palmer. I would say of those, maybe Henderson, Palmer have the best chance for Tuesday. Kane a big doubt. So, but we'll know more about that on tomorrow night, Sunday morning, really.
So, if no Harry Kane, is this in some ways a bit of a shootout between Tony and Watkins?
Well, it's definitely an opportunity for other players, and I think we're going to see that across the two games anyway. We've lost huge numbers in terms of our longer list of players, if you like. I think we're up to 15 or more missing from a group of 40. So it's a significant situation. But these, we need to know about other people. We need to know about other people before the summer, and it's great for them to play in a game or two matches that are really high quality. We'll be in no uncertain mind as to how they fit into that team and how they fit in at that level of performance.
As you will well be aware, there's been a lot of talk about what happens next for you. I know you mentioned it last week. There is no danger, is there, of all of that noise sidetracking you from what the priorities are? You're shaking your head already.
Yeah, not at all. I've got one job, pretty big one, but I've got one job. So we play Brazil tomorrow. We have a European Championship coming up. I'm the England manager. My focus isn't anywhere else. I do have a job where I'm surrounded by noise a lot of various different natures. So fortunately for me, over the course of the 7-8 years I've been doing it, you get used to being able to ignore stuff and concentrate on preparing the players for the game.
More from Gareth Southgate and John Murray on the Football Daily podcast, which will be available later on this evening over on BBC Sounds. Delighted to say that John joins us now. Evening, firstly, there's obviously been a lot away from the pitch which has grabbed the headlines in the last 24 or so hours, but loads on the plate of an England manager, John.
Hi, Aaron. Yeah, I think he's going to be very happy to turn his attentions very much on the match against Brazil tomorrow night. 7 o'clock kickoff, by the way. 5 Live, the place to hear it. But yes, once I finished speaking to him, he actually went down into the sort of wider media conference and spoke a little more about this much talked about issue of the new little flag on the new shirts. And he actually said, Gareth Southgate, he sort of raised the question himself. He said, should we be tampering with the cross of St George? He said, as far as he's concerned, the England manager, if it's not red on white, it's not a cross of St George. And also more on this talk which has been swirling around all week really about whether he's in contention to become the next manager of Manchester United, should that position become vacant. He said in terms of his own position, because he is contracted with England until December, said now's not the right time, wouldn't be the right time to talk about a New England contract before a tournament. And also he said that he would not be speaking to anyone else while he's in a job.
Going to be interesting to hear more on that over on the Football Daily podcast. Thank you, John. That's available on BBC Sounds later on this evening. The players in and around the tunnel at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Before we head back to commentary there, Leicester City have started urgent legal proceedings against the Premier League and EFL after being charged with allegedly breaking spending rules. The Championship club said they were compelled to act after being charged with breaching profit and sustainability rules on Thursday. If found guilty, the Foxes could face a points deduction. The club have also been placed under a transfer embargo by the EFL. Over on Sports Extra tonight, we've got live commentary from the Challenge Cup 6 round. It's Leeds Rhinos 6, St Helens 10 at the moment. Elsewhere, Hull KR 10, Salford Red Devils 0 as the latest score, as is Wigan 10, Sheffield Eagles 12. And Rugby Union's Premiership is back after its break for the Men's Six Nations. At half-time, it's Bristol 17, Northampton 7, Leinster 8, Gloucester 17. And finally, in the United Rugby Championship, Glasgow 0, Cardiff 13 is the latest score, as is Ospreys 5, Munster 19. Back underway in Amsterdam to your commentary team of Pat Nevin and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Aaron. We're back underway. The two Liverpool players, the respective captains, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, have brought their unchanged teams back out for the second period. The Dutch leading by a 1-0. Fine goal it was too, to Gianni Rinders, his first in international football. How are Scotland going to react to this? Miscued clearance by Tierney puts the ball out of play on the far side. And that is a throw-in for the Netherlands and for Jeremy Frimpong. I'll give you a full rundown of the teams as they line up in just a moment, as Xavi Simons tries to hook the ball in field, but it goes out for a Scotland throw. But Pat Evan, having had the 15 minutes to digest that first half, how are you feeling about things here at the start of the second?
Well, I didn't want to see was a whole raft of changes right away. I certainly wanted Shankland to get a little bit more time, because he is moving well, he is getting in good positions. He's against a very good defence, or one particular defender, because Van Dijk's not letting him out of his sight. But just to see, do the Dutch play at the same tempo at the start of the second half as they finish the first half? And if they do, it could be quite tough for Scotland.
So the teams, the Netherlands with Mark Flekken in goal, the Brentford keeper Jeremy Frimpong, Geertruida, Van Dijk and Aki, that's the back four. Wiever, Wijnaldum and Rinders, the three in the midfield, and then Xavi Simons, Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo, the front three for Ronald Koeman's team. For Scotland, Angus Gunn is the keeper, Ryan Porteous, Jack Hendry and Kieran Tierney, the three central defenders. Nathan Patterson, right wing back, the only teenager in this Scotland squad. Andy Robertson, the captain, left wing back. Gilmour, McTominay, McGinn and Christie in the midfield. Lawrence Shankland leading the line. Shankland did well in the first half. He's on the attack again here. Chance to shoot. McTominay comes off the foot of a defender and pops up into the arms of the goalkeeper Flekken. Scotland into the Dutch penalty area for the first time in this second half.
Very Scott McTominay, wasn't it? That's what he is absolutely brilliant at, when he's played that further forward possession. I mean, it really was Stevie Clarke that did it. Manchester United are asking him to do it as well, and he just flies forward. But he could never get himself into a clear shooting position. But you know, with deflection, you might have got something out of that. But it just shows you, Scotland are not going to change it. They're not going to sit back. They're going to continue to have a go, which bodes well for the next 45-ish minutes.
Memphis Depay winning a free kick for the Dutch. Hendry was the defender. Depay seemed to go down rather easily, but the officials were satisfied that it was a free kick. Gilmour has it for Scotland now. Infield to Scott McTominay. Drops the shoulder. Passes it to the right-hand side to John McGinn. He's got Patterson available on the overlap. Cuts back in field. McGinn goes around Gakpo. Now he tries to hook it. It's a great ball if it can be controlled. Robertson pulling it back. Christie with his back to goal inside the penalty area. Shielded away by Geertruida. Scotland hold on to possession, but they're now back outside the box. Robertson has it up against the sideline. Clever ball in field to McTominay, who tries to turn Mats Wiever, and then it does come in low, and then Rinders is able to clear out, but only as far as Gilmour, who follows up with a right-footed shot that is saved by Mark Flekken. This is good from Scotland. They have picked up at the start of the second half the way they started the 90 minutes tonight.
Yeah, and they kept it going for about 40. They look the better team again. They're giving no time to the Dutch at all. It's intriguing, because there's no doubt the Dutch have been told. Koeman said to them, get closer, don't give so much space away. They tried to do that for a minute or two there, then they kind of held off again, really. It's as if the Scotland players want to give every single ounce of energy to the Dutch. They don't fancy doing quite the same. And then again, 1-0 up, it would appear they don't need to give every ounce of energy.
That latest attempt for Scotland from Billy Gilmour, who got his first international goal against France in October. Never scored a club goal, Gilmour. Nearly got a second for his country there. This is Xavi Simons just outside the penalty area. The Dutch playing from right to left in this second half. Simons gets it back again. Wijnaldum with a touch. Porteous pokes out his foot and manages to flick it away. Christie's got work to do here on the edge of his own penalty area, and he's lost out to Mats Wiever. Chance to play in a low ball. Simons to Depay. What a turn! Memphis Depay saved by Angus Gunn. Brilliant turn from the Atletico Madrid striker, and somehow he's been denied by a world-class save from Angus Gunn.
He has. It's secondary in my mind right now because Tierney's gone down injured, and any Scotsman will tell you Tierney getting injured is a concern. Scots will back up, but yeah, what a brilliant turn it was. He's in the box. You know, we're talking about great strikers of the past, the way they do it. That was Gert Muller. That was the way he turns it. It was so on a sixpence. He was getting dragged back. They may look at that as a possible penalty kick. Nope, got away with it, Scotland. But the goalkeeper down to his left. Maybe it was a question of the goal that Scotland lost. There's nothing wrong with that save.
Here's McGinn. Shot on target, saved by Flecken, diving to his left. Still high octane this game. Ball back into the centre, header just off target from Ryan Christie. Scotland with two chances in one motion there, but it remains 1-0 to the Netherlands.
It just looks a bit flaky at the back with the Netherlands. It's not actually that difficult for Scotland to get into very good positions, but each time the ball's gone in there, this time it was Christie, another effort on goal, didn't quite get it on target. But I know what Lawrence Shanling's thinking. Can I please have one of those half chances?
Most of the fans have been used to seeing John McGinn cracking shots on target all campaign, and that was a good effort, well saved by Flecken. And this feeling that we mentioned a few times in the first half, that there's a competitive nature to this friendly game, continues. The Dutch haven't sealed this by any means. Xavi Simons midway inside Scotland territory, goes down, free kick for the Dutch. They want further retribution, but it's going to be a free kick. It was Tierney who has recovered. He went down, he was slow to get back to his feet. You were showing concern about that, Pat, but Tierney does look to have recovered.
He does, and by the way, that's never a foul in a month of Sundays. He just ran into Tierney and then fell over. An absolute nonsense. I don't think the referee saw that. That's a nonsense. Never in a million years is that free kick.
So the Dutch took their free kick, and then immediately they want another one closer to the penalty area. It was Mats Wiever who went down. Well, I don't think the referee has given the free kick. He just held up play because Wiever had gone down.
Well, he's ran in to the defender who's right in front of him. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Disappear? Honestly, Gakpo's done it. He's just done it there. Frimpong's done it already. And beginning to get a bit fed up with the kind of throwing themselves to the ground. It's a bit of a nonsense. Well done, referee, for not falling for it most of the time. He fell for it a minute ago there, but he didn't fall for it a second time, so well done. Personally, I'd be asking for him to get his yellow card out for that. Basic cheating.
Play resumes with an uncontested drop ball near the halfway line.
It's got to bounce. The ball hasn't bounced and he's played it. You're not allowed to do that. It's got to bounce first.
So the successfully executed drop ball, and the game is back underway. 53 minutes on the big stadium clock in Amsterdam, and the Dutch still leading Scotland by a 1-0.
I'd love to ask a referee, should that not be a free kick to Scotland?
Oh, that is
an
one
infringement.
That is a you are the ref panel or two on that one.
So to explain, the referee does the drop ball. He lets it drop, but the player doesn't allow it to bounce. So he puts his foot out.
I would imagine until the ball hits the ground, the game is not restarted. That would be my guess.
You may be right. I'll be honest with you on this occasion, I do not know the answer.
No, neither. Well, I'm sure we'll have some referees listening in. Do let us know. Here's a chance for Scotland. Gilmour again shoots right-footed, deflected wide of the target and out for a corner. He's getting into little pockets of space, Billy Gilmour. That's 3 times now he's had good attempts at goal in the game.
Yes, it's a good attempt, but the ball's got to be played through. If the top players, when they get the ball in that position, there was a great opportunity on Scotland didn't take it.
So just to clarify, Pat, you're saying he should have passed instead of shooting there?
Yes, absolutely should have passed him. You know, it's De Bruyne or Silva, they see that pass, and then it's a tap-ins for Scotland. And because he doesn't see the pass, takes a shot on, it's then a half decent chance as opposed to something close to a tap-in.
Christie 20 yards outside the penalty area, the Scotland attack. Tierney with the ranging long ball, trying to get in around the back of Nathan Aki, who backpedaling is able to win the header, and then Rinders cushions it back to the goalkeeper, Mark Flecken.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a striker there and you know that space and that pass is on for half a second, sounds like nothing. Half a second's enough. If it's on, you got to play it through. And as you can see, as a Scotsman listening to that and watching that, you don't get that many chances. That was as clean a chance, apart from the header against the crossbar, that Scotland have had in this game so far.
Yeah, after joining our coverage late, Scotland played really well in the first half. They've played well in this opening 10 minutes of the second half too, but it's the goal from Tijani Rinders, his first in international football, that has the Netherlands in front here at home in Amsterdam. Geertruida. Good ball into the midfield. Chance of an attack here now as Cody Gakpo gets it on the left-hand side for the Netherlands. Attacking the penalty area. On his right boot, shoots, and there was a knuckleball movement about that shot. It swerved in the air in front of Angus Gunn, who with both gloves pushes it out for a corner.
Yeah, he needed to save that one again. He's like the goal that he lost. He was on his right-hand side. He's moved across. He's put it out. He's done the right thing. I think we could go back at some point and talk about the goal, and we were wondering if maybe Angus Gunn could have done a little bit better.
Corner's been taken short. Played in by Dupay. McTominay stooped down. It was just flicked in front of him, so he missed it. Xavi Simons will play it back into the penalty area. Too many Scotland players there. McGinn is going to try and dribble his way out. He's hurt his way in the process, but the counter-attack is on here. And Ryan Christie from inside his own half tried to shoot. Flecken was off his goal line, and it wasn't a clean connection. It's well wide in the end from Ryan Christie.
It's a right call though, isn't it? If you get that right, I mean, to be honest, the rugby players wouldn't probably have a goal from that far. It was a long way. But if you get it clean, the keeper was 25-30 yards out of his goal. It had to be perfect, and it wasn't.
This is a fixture which has a long history of producing spectacular Scottish goals. James McFadden, who's here tonight, we were chatting to him before the game. He scored a fine goal against the Dutch not so long ago, and I guess we are legally obliged, Pat, and it's probably a surprise we've reached the 57th minute without mentioning
Archie Gemmill. There was another great Scotland goal that day. Dalglish scored a cracker that day as well, but
lost in the mists of time to the quality of now. Here's maybe a chance for Scotland. A break through the middle. Robertson, how did he pop up here? But he tried to turn Nathan Aki, and in coming back inside, Rinders was able to get back and make the chance. For a moment it looked like Robertson was going to be running through. Free kick to the Dutch now near the halfway line for a foul on Cody Gakpo.
But really well worked again by Scotland. Brilliant stuff. I mean, yeah, he's a wing back, but he's allowed to go forward because he's got cover behind him, Robertson. Tierney will always make sure that space is there, but for all the things that Robertson is good at, he's not noted for being a great finisher. And of course the ball was on his right foot there, so that was always going to make it slightly more difficult for him.
12 minutes played in the second half. The Dutch still leading because of Rinders' goal 5 minutes before the break. This is Geertruida. Plays a little 1-2 with Mats Wiefer. Good pressure from Scotland. Christie's nipped in ahead of Xavi Simons and manages to win the ball, but he can't hold on to it, and Simons, the Leipzig player, regains possession for the Netherlands. Wijnaldum back to Geertruida again. And for the first time, really, the Netherlands slowing the pace down. Ball is rolled back to Virgil van Dijk. No urgency to come forward. The Dutch happy to hold on to it midway inside their own half. They still haven't had any substitutions in the game, but there are substitutes from both teams warming up at the moment.
Yeah, have a look at the clock. It's always 60 minutes. Somebody will do it in 60 minutes.
Gakpo shields the ball out of play. He knew the last touch had come off Nathan Patterson there, and he knew that would be a free kick to the Netherlands. Just feel they're going to need the second goal to be sure of wrapping this up. 1-0 feels high jeopardy lead at the moment in a game that's been so open and so many chances. Here is Frimpong, good ball. Simons turns, shoots just off target. He pirouetted inside the penalty area. It's on his left boot. He goes for the bottom left-hand corner and it's wide.
Yep, Frimpong on the right-hand side there. I mean, full back, but it looks like a winger, doesn't he? He's not the tallest of players either. He's got really quick feet, but every time he comes up against Robertson or against Tierney, he doesn't look as if he believes he can get by. So what he does is put a dangerous ball in there, and didn't quite fall to any of the orange shirted players. Just going down there just now is Patterson. I actually think he's had a really good game today. I mean, he's up against Cody Gakpo, who's a top player, who's scored so well for the Dutch and been playing well for Liverpool as well. But he's given at least as good as he's got against Gakpo.
He's got 13 goals for Liverpool this season in all competitions, Cody Gakpo. He's been on a very good run for his country as well. Here's McTominay in the midfield. Oh, lovely feed from Scott McTominay there to get away from Simons. He eventually does lose it, but he did a lovely deceptive touch to buy himself a little bit of time there. Gilmour gets it back for Scotland, runs into the centre circle to the feet of Shankland. Shankland given his chance to lead the line by Steve Clarke. Reward for all the goals he scored for Hearts in Scotland this season. Porteous, Tierney, and now up to Robertson, who'll come into the Dutch half. Scotland playing from left to right in this second half. Steve Clarke is having a word with John Carver down in the technical area. It would feel like a Scotland change is imminent. The Dutch are certainly going to make at least a double change any moment now. There's a lot of activity down in their technical area. Scotland in possession, halfway line. Nathan Patterson infield to Billy Gilmour of Brighton. John McGinn picks it up and uses his sturdy frame to hold off to Gianni Reinders.
That's another phrase used for John McGinn when everyone's trying to find different phrases to use that movement. He sticks his backside out. Let's be honest about it.
You use every tool in the toolbox. This is Aki up towards Memphis Depay, who likes to play with the socks really low down. And his shin pads, Depay, must be the size of a postage stamp to squeeze them in underneath those roll-down socks. This is Nathan Aki, midway inside his own half. And under pressure from Christie, he'll turn and roll it back to Mark Flecken. We are at the hour mark, substitution time, and changes are on their way. Oh, mistake at the back, chance for Scotland here. This is the moment, off the crossbar again. Lawrence Shankland, one-on-one with Mark Flecken, and he went for power, and he went for the top corner, and it clips the frame of the goal. Scotland's most gilt-edged opportunity of the evening, and it's not been taken.
You know, you're talking about any player in the Scotland team. I'm telling you, any player in Scottish football you want there, one-on-one with a goalkeeper, it's Lawrence Shankland. His finishing has been astonishing this season, absolutely brilliant. And on this occasion, he probably had slightly too much time. Oh, what a shame for the lads.
Wiefer, who gave the ball away there. McTominay had won it for the opportunity for Lawrence Shankland. Wiefer's been taken off here. Joey Veerman of PSV Eindhoven comes on in his place. And they're also going to bring on Denzel Dumfries, who plays in Italy with Inter Milan. Dumfries, who's been a regular in the team in recent years, and he is on as well. So Wiefer has gone off, Frimpong has gone off. Dumfries coming on at right back where Jeremy Frimpong had been playing for Ronald Koeman. Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We're inside the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. This is first touch since coming on for Joey Veerman. 7th cap for him this evening. Player who provides a lot of assists for PSV Eindhoven in the Eredivisie. Aki near the halfway line, another touch for Veerman. The Netherlands still playing with the midfield three, but now it's Veerman, Wijnaldum and Reinders. Depay gets a touch back to Denzel Dumfries. And now the Dutch captain, Virgil van Dijk, up to the halfway line, and increasingly the Netherlands are dictating the play. The recent Scotland chances have been because of Dutch mistakes, but the tempo of the game is being dictated by the host at the moment.
Well, they're trying to do that, but Scotland will be happy because Scotland played at such a high tempo for the vast majority of the game so far. They could do with a little bit of rest, some of those players in midfield, so they'll enjoy that just now. But when they get a chance, they will go and close down quite a few times after this. But we're talking about that chance there from Shankland. You think of the header off the crossbar, hitting the crossbar again there. The chance a few moments ago when the ball should have been played through to Shankland and it wasn't played through to him. Scotland have had really great opportunities in this game. You don't expect to get too many, and that's before you start talking about the amount of time Scotland have got down the lines and got good crosses in. So Stevie Clarke, I think, when we talk to him after a game, it's an absolute sticker, and he'll just talk about that final third.
Scotland have been able to create the chances that will please the coach. But against this sort of opposition, you've got to take your opportunity. Scotland have possession. 1-0 they trail in Amsterdam. John McGinn near the centre circle, veers away from Rinders. Plays it out to Andy Robertson on the far side. Back to Tierney. 15 yards outside his own penalty area. McTominay drops into a pocket. Now Gilmour. Scotland are trying to dictate the tempo once again. They're trying to get the swift passing moving. But Porteous is forced to retreat back to the goalkeeper. Gunn to Tierney, and then he's right under pressure by the byline, so he's got to go long. But he's played an accurate ball up to John McGinn, who tries to turn Rinders and is fouled. Free kick to Scotland inside their own half. 1-0 they trail.
If you're a centre forward, you want to know how to hold the ball up, go and watch McGinn. Every time that comes to him, it's pointless trying to tackle him half the time, because you're either A, going to get turned, or B, give away a free kick.
Christie's made a good run here, and Tierney has spotted him. He popped the ball over the top, but good defending, good alert defending by Lutaril Hirtrauda, who was able to get back. And Virgil van Dijk's central defensive partner has done well against alongside his captain tonight. Here is Van Dijk inside the Dutch penalty area, turns and rolls it back to the goalkeeper Mark Flekken. The goal in the first half from Rinders came 5 minutes before the break. Scotland have hit the woodwork twice in the match. Can Steve Clarke's team catch a break here in Amsterdam? Ake into Wijnaldum, under pressure from Billy Gilmour. Wijnaldum knows a very experienced customer, shrugs off that pressure, chance to play it forward here. Veerman's ball is straight towards Ryan Porteous, who makes an intercept. What a lovely touch that was. A little volley backheel from Billy Gilmour that picked out Shankland, but the Netherlands get it back again. Cody Gakpo to Tijjani Rinders. Back now to Nathan Ake near the halfway line. Better possession from the Dutch. Xavi Simon's been allowed to turn. Running up towards the penalty area, he plays a poor pass behind Cody Gakpo. Groans from the Dutch supporters. Scotland regain possession. 25 minutes of normal time to go.
Again, Scotland, you talk about Billy Gilmour there, nice little touches. I think he's been fabulous in this game. I mean, he does not look out of place in any company, generally wherever he plays. I mean, he plays at top level in England anyway, but you put him in an international game against the Dutch, famed for their quality midfield players. It's a good argument Gilmour might have been the best player in that midfield tonight.
Coming up to 10:15 local time here in the Netherlands. Don't forget, tomorrow England against Brazil. You can listen to the game live from Wembley here on 5 Live. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. Earlier on tomorrow, Manchester City women against Manchester United women as the Manchester Derby. Commentary on 5 Live at 12:30. The game also available to view on BBC One television. And a busy week of internationals to come. On Tuesday, Wales against Poland in that playoff final on 5 Live. England against Belgium friendly will be available to listen to on Sports Extra on Tuesday. Wednesday night, Chelsea against Ajax in the second leg of the Women's Champions League quarter-final. And on Thursday night, 5 Live's 30 defining sporting moments. Eleanor Oldroyd and guests remember 30 of the biggest sporting moments during 5 Live's history, because this week, 5 Live celebrating 30 years of existence. Right, Steve Clarke is making some changes here inside the Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. Che Adams has come on. Also coming out onto the field is Lewis Ferguson, who's been having a very good campaign in Italy with Bologna, the former Aberdeen player. So he is on, and so too John Souttar, the Rangers defender. So 3 changes for Steve Clarke to try and get Scotland back on level terms here and to cancel out this 1-goal deficit that they currently trail.
Yeah, Shankland's when he's on his race here, but he's not scored. He's had a chance. He's chased everything. And it's one of those ones, if you're watching it and he's had a one-on-one with the keeper and he's hit the crossbar and he should have scored, you know, you think, oh, that is chance. Look, he will be going to the Euros with Scotland. There's no doubt about that. But for him, he'll be gutted.
Here's a chance for the Dutch. Depay, is he dragged back on the edge of the penalty area? The referee is allowing play to continue because the Dutch still have it, but I think it was a free kick. Yes, it is. Scotland win the ball back. John Souttar's first touch, however, the referee was playing an advantage. It was a foul on Memphis Depay, and this is a free kick in shooting distance on the edge of the D.
Yep, seemed a wee bit unnatural the way he got himself into that position there. I mean, similar to John McGinn a little bit earlier on, you know. you don't grab people back in that situation. You know when you're going to give a free kick, a yellow card almost certainly away as well. To be fair, Depay knew what he was doing. He was leaning into it to some degree, but that's secondary now. Free kick, 20 yards out, perfect position. Gakpo just cannot wait to go on the end of this.
Ronald Koeman would have loved this, wouldn't he? Scored the winning goal in the Champions League final with Barcelona, won the old European Cup with PSV Eindhoven. And the Dutch head coach knows all about taking free kicks from this territory. Can Memphis Depay come up with a special moment here? Scotland have got a draft excluder lying down at the back of the wall. This is just outside the D of the penalty area. It is Memphis Depay, and the wall does its job. Header up into the air, I think by Lewis Ferguson, who's come on in place of Gilmour in the midfield. Souttar, by the way, replacing Tierney. And Che Adams on for Shankland, who had hit the crossbar not so long ago.
Tierney coming off is no surprise. Obviously a little injury he had before, but he's had so many injuries. Talking about Robertson being off for a while, Scotland fans know he'll be fine, he'll be back, that's okay. Tierney's the one. You want to make sure that he's fit as often as possible.
Aki's got some defending to do here. Patterson up from right back has done really well. Patterson into McGinn, chance of a shot. He got a bend on it, but it's set off too far wide of the target, and even though it bent, it had too much ground to make up. It's wide from John McGinn. That was a good opportunity for Scotland.
With John McGinn, the scoring that he's done with Scotland and with Aston Villa as well, you absolutely expected that to be in the back post, and had it not been in the goal, the keeper would have had to do something special. It's actually quite a shock that he put that a yard wide.
It's a performance tonight from Scotland where they could easily have scored 3 or 4 goals tonight. I think Steve Clarke, despite the scoreline, is going to be very pleased against elite opposition how many chances Scotland have been able to create. Now, of course, there's no points for artistic merit, and you've got to get the ball in the back of the net, but at least Scotland are doing the first part, which is creating the chances in the first place.
And it's, they've done it. No, yes, there have been mistakes by the Dutch defence, but not always. It's been closing down. It's been asked them difficult questions. If they're going to be quite lax in the ball, okay, then you're going to find out that we can actually cause you some problems. So yes, Scotland have done well in those situations, but that very final thing of putting the ball in the net, hardest thing to do in the game, that's where Scotland's problem's been. Simple as that.
Netherlands 1, Scotland 0. We're into the last 20 minutes of normal time now. Rinders has scored the goal. Out to the left-hand side to Cody Gakpo. Cuts back into the penalty area, sends it across, and that's the second goal. It's finished. Perfect execution from close range. Gino Wijnaldum making a trademark run into the 6-yard box. Picked out by Cody Gakpo. And a short-range finish doubles the Netherlands lead. And for all Scotland's good hard work tonight, now they've got an enormous mountain to climb. Netherlands 2, Scotland 0.
Yeah, and it's hard one to take for those Scotland fans. It's a great goal. I mean, they played it really neatly. And you're trying to find it's not just in international football. You look at top of the Premier League and other places as well. The teams that do really well, other teams that can do that final thing in the final third. They can put the ball in the net, and it's not just the strikers that do it. It's players that are calm all over the pitch when they get into that final third. Scotland just haven't had that tonight. The Dutch have.
Gino Wijnaldum, it is his 28th international goal. He scored against Italy last summer. A player who, after leaving Liverpool, went to Paris Saint-Germain. He had a short spell at Roma. Then he moved to Saudi, where he's been playing with Al Ettifaq, but brought back into the national setup by Ronald Koeman after a 9-month absence. And Gino Wijnaldum has scored the goal. He's the second top scorer in this Dutch squad. Only Memphis Depay has scored more. VAR, having had a look at it, the goal does stand. Changes are going to be made. Ryan Christie will go off here. In fact, is it?
Armstrong's probably coming on, I would guess.
And Patterson making way as well.
Yeah, Ralston's deserving of a chance. He doesn't get that many opportunities. He's come on there, very, very similar position, and I have to say, Patterson, he's done himself proud tonight. He's played very, very well. He's run himself into the ground, got himself into a really dangerous position, and that opportunity that McGinn got just a while ago, that was by the phenomenal running of Patterson as well before that. So changes have been made, lots of changes by Scotland, but the one big thing for Scotland that has never been the case in the past, Scotland have made 5 changes, 6 changes. They don't look that bad. Really looking strong as well. So Ralston on for Patterson. It's a very good one for Scotland.
Armstrong on for Christie. Nathan Patterson, who hasn't played for Everton since January, so that was a useful run out for him. He got 75 minutes tonight. That goal from Wijnaldum, that was the insurance policy that the Dutch were hoping for. They can be a little bit more relaxed now after the scare that Scotland have given them in various stages tonight. Stuart Armstrong of Southampton, who scored in his most recent club appearance. He scored for Southampton, their win over Sunderland 2 weeks ago. Stuart Armstrong here. Come the Dutch again. Rinders to Simons on the edge of the area, and he's dragged the shot across the face of goal and wide. Important now for Steve Clarke's team to not let this run away from them in the final quarter of an hour, having played so well. You wouldn't want this to become 3-4-0.
Yeah, and it would be unfair, but that's just the way football is. I knew they would make a lot of changes. Scotland would make, certainly when the second goal came in. Right, okay, you're probably not going to win. You need to go and give players a little bit of run out. They've came a long way. There's games coming up. The game coming up this week as well. But also, most importantly, you have to find out the capabilities of some of the players that don't often get a chance. So for Ralston tonight is a very, very big opportunity.
Trout helped out in the midfield by Joey Veerman. Back to Nathan Aki, the Dutch wing from right to left as we look down in their traditional bright orange. Netherlands 2, Scotland 0. Armstrong runs up to Virgil van Dijk. Dumfries here plays it up to Depay, who's really cleverly left it for Simons. Simons tries to return, and was that a foul? Referee comes sprinting over and says no foul on Memphis Depay, who thought he was going to run through. Jack Hendry was the defender. Both players hit the deck. Referee says no foul. Scotland play on and they come down the other end. Armstrong level with the edge of the penalty area that Scotland attack. Could Steve Clarke's team get a goal here and make it an exciting finish in Amsterdam? The Dutch have got everyone back behind the ball. There's a chance for McGinn on the edge of the penalty area to roll it out to Ralston. One touch to steady. It's a great cross in, and it's a header just off target. Scott McTominay inside the 6-yard box. He's been scoring those with regularity for club and country, but this is the night that Scotland are having tonight. Really good chances, but unable to put them away.
Unbelievable. McGinn, brilliant chance. Christie, brilliant chance. Shankland, brilliant chance. McTominay, brilliant chance. Every one of them have had these opportunities and they just can't take one of them. It's absolutely incredible to see Scotland doing this. 2-0. It's just so unfortunate for Scotland because they deserve at least a goal out of this game. They keep on doing it and they haven't given up either.
Big Roar's Memphis Depay has been taken off. Wout Weghorst will come on, still officially a Burnley player. They are still his parent club. He's on loan in Germany with Hoffenheim. Wout Weghorst, who's played in the Premier League for Manchester United too, is on. And Daniel Malin, another who plays in Germany with Dortmund, he's come on for Xavi Simons. Now Malin's been having a very good season in Germany, 13 goals for Dortmund. Let's see what he can do in the closing stages here against the Scotland team, who are 2 goals down. Armstrong plays the ball back behind to John Souttar. Armstrong gets another touch. Che Adams waits patiently alongside Virgil van Dijk, hoping that he'll get the sort of service that other Scotland attackers have had this evening in the Johan Cruyff Arena. Jack Hendry has possession, rolls it to his right-hand side. Chance to come forward. Ferguson under pressure from Weghorst, who's like a coil spring. He's sprinting around the place down there, wanting to make an impression, having just come onto the field. Scotland's captain gets it. Robertson on the left, looking for Che Adams. Picks him out, edge of the penalty area. Van Dijk comes across and bullies him. Just pushes Che Adams away. Last touch off Van Dijk, though, and that is a throw into Scotland, attacking position down the left.
You won't enjoy playing against Adams, because Adams will just keep on running. He'll keep on hassling him. He wants to have the ball at his feet a few times, Van Dijk, but he'll get a bit of a run around here.
Well, this is a scenario, this is all preparation for the Euros in the summer, and there'll be surely a moment when Scotland need a late goal in the game. So we're getting to see what an all-out late attack from Steve Clarke would look like if you really have to push the button and deliver something. And it's a more attacking formation now after the substitutions. Ball into the penalty area is overstruck from Souttar, and that's easily taken by Mark Flecken, the Dutch goalkeeper, but he bolts it out low and it's been given away. Armstrong out to Robertson on the left-hand side, leaning back as he sends in the delivery. Dumfries got a touch on it. McTominay. Che Adams pulls it back from the byline, but pulls it back straight to Virgil van Dijk, whose clearance isn't emphatic, and Scotland remain on the attack here. McTominay steps into the penalty area, gives it back out to Robertson. First touch wasn't great, then he delivers a cross that's too close to the goalkeeper, and that first touch just disrupted the rhythm there for Andy Robertson, and the Scotland attack fades away.
Yeah, but they're not giving up attacking. They're 2-0 down, but the problem with that,
the counter-attack, and here come the Dutch with Malin down the other end. Low ball into the penalty area. Porteous is able to lean back and clear the ball away, and it's an accurate clearance up to Armstrong, and the game is stretched in the closing stages in Amsterdam. Just over 10 minutes of normal time to play. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This international friendly tonight, a warm-up game for Euro 2024, of which both these teams will be involved in the summer. Ferguson has it on the halfway line. Rolls it back to Jack Hendry. Now Ryan Porteous. Ralston on the right-hand side, 10 yards into Dutch territory. John McGinn gets a touch, but he's outnumbered. 3 orange shirts swarm around him, and possession is won back for the Netherlands with Joey Veerman, and he'll roll it back to Virgil van Dijk. Scotland to play Northern Ireland in a friendly on Tuesday. The Dutch will be up against Germany. Have both coaches been able to learn what they were seeking to achieve tonight in these performances? There's been much to praise about Scotland, but not the scoreboard. Here's a chance for Wijnaldum, inner on the back of Porteous. Great first touch of Wijnaldum to buy a bit of time. Malin arriving, onto his left boot, shoots on target, but it's blocked by Souttar. Scotland can't get it fully away. Dumfries, Malin. There's extra energy in the Dutch legs now. They found another wind late in the game as Cody Gakpo on his right boot shoots across the goalkeeper, and it's narrowly wide. Within a whisker of the Dutch getting their 3rd goal of the night into the last 10 minutes now in Amsterdam.
There's a lot of talent out there's no doubt from the Scotland players, but they're not going to give up. You're talking about scoring those late goals. Scotland famously scored a couple of late ones against the Norwegians that made a lot of difference from trying to get to the Euros. It just shows you at the end of this game, yeah, there's some tiredness, but they've not stopped having a go at it. They've not stopped trying to get forward, and they've not stopped actually making chances and half chances either.
Right, another double change for the Dutch. A reminder of the strength and depth at the disposal of Ronald Koeman. Daley Blind is going to come on, the most capped player in the current squad, the former Manchester United man who's been having a wonderful season in Spain. He's part of the Girona team that was second behind Real Madrid up until recently. They were only overtaken last week by Barcelona. So Blind comes on. He's taken, I think, the place of Wijnaldum in the midfield. And also, Town Koopmeiners has come on, the Atalanta midfielder. It's a 21st cap for him. Atalanta, who've been drawn to face Liverpool in the next round of the Europa League. So he gets to come up against Virgil van Dijk, alongside Virgil van Dijk, and up against Andy Robertson here. Koopmeiners on. So Gakpo is the other player who made way. So Koopmeiners on for him, and Blind into the midfield for Gino Wijnaldum. And, we mentioned there's no Ajax players in the Dutch squad at the moment, but Daley Blind is Ajax royalty. His father, Danny Blind, played over 400 times for the club, won everything that was to be won in the red and white of Ajax. As Scotland look to see this out now. 2-0 in front against the Netherlands, 2-0 in front against Scotland here with 7 minutes to play. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not being biased. I don't think I am. Scotland deserve a goal in this game. The way they've fought, the way they've battled, the way they've played really good football, not trying to, just kick the opposition off it. Look, we'll take you on technically as well. For long periods have looked as good technically. And certainly, in terms of chances, Scotland have made just as many.
Rinders, that's a good ball into the penalty area. Koopmeiners around the goalkeeper, sliding back was Porteous. So Koopmeiners went around the outrushing Angus Gunn. The angle was tight, he tried to pull it back. Porteous sliding in, pushes it for a corner.
Oh, Angus Gunn gets very, very lucky there. He came out, stopped, came out again, and they almost had to jump out of the way of the tackle. Or else they would have given away the penalty kick there. But it was that hesitancy at the start of the move there. He came out first time there, he would have got it, but there was a bit of hesitation, and that's what caused the trouble. Got away with it, got a bit lucky.
Corner to the Netherlands. Joey Veerman is going to take it left hand side as they come forward. He's a right-footed player. This will be in-swinging. Most of the Dutch are huddled around the penalty spot. Now they disperse it. The ball comes in, header, and and it's scored, and it's Wout Weghorst who's made it Netherlands 3, Scotland 0, and that was as direct as you like. An in-swinging corner, curled into the box, and 6'6" Wout Weghorst was there to power it in. It's a scoreline that doesn't quite reflect the pattern of the game, but although Scotland have had more attempts than the Netherlands tonight, they've now conceded 3 without reply. It's the Dutch 3, Scotland 0, 6 minutes to play. Wout Weghorst joins the party.
Yeah, it was the oldest of old school goals. Just a corner kick into the back post. Big striker, and I mean, very big striker here. I think a lot of Scotland players were drawn to the front post by a great run made by Van Dijk. But of course, Weghorst has just come on, and because he's just come on, maybe there's no one who's actually set out to be marking him, and he rises almost unchallenged on the 6-yard line.
Well, there was a certain resigned nature to the Scotland defending of that corner. They were not sharp, they were not alert, and this brave performance this evening away from home has faded just in recent minutes. Scotland now look very much a beaten team at 3-0 down. And I think if we were wondering what we would learn tonight, it's that, you know, having heart, having work rate, it gets you so far, but against the elite teams, you need more than that. You've got to score when you get chances, and Scotland haven't been able to do that, and the Netherlands have picked them off, you know, in this second half rather easily now in the end, Pat.
Yeah, and yeah, it's painful, but you have to learn from it, and that's what Stevie Clarke here came to learn from. But a lot of players have got a lot of minutes under their belts. It's certainly good to see John McGinn, who's just gone off there. He's got about 85 minutes under his belt as well. He's played very well. He does his usual job for Scotland. Slight surprise that the opportunity he had near the end, he didn't get on target. But you're looking along this, there's a lot of positives Scotland can take out. But boy, it's a punch in the solar plexus. You're 3-0 down.
Again, Mallin into the penalty area. Porteous couldn't stop him. He's 4. Super finish by Donyell Mallin. His 6th international goal. But he has bullied the Scotland defence again there. Porteous was swept aside. And a Scotland team that have put in such a good performance for so long, it's caving late on. 2 goals in 2 minutes. First of all, Weghorst's header. Now a quite wonderful pounce by Donyell Mallin. And the Netherlands are running away with it now. 4-0 in Amsterdam.
Yeah, hard one to take. It's poor defending. You've got to make the tackle there. He actually does get a touch in the ball when it's going through, and he thinks it's going to get back to the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's not been able to get out there in time. And if you do that with good players around like Mallin's just gone in there, flicked it round, never looked in doubt that he would miss it when he was given the chances. And when they've got opportunities, the Dutch have just cruised. So they're going to check this one, but I have to say I couldn't see anything wrong with that.
Well, Ronald Koeman's going to be delighted with this. The Dutch fans are absolutely delighted with it. In a major tournament year, the Netherlands have now scored 4 without reply in this warm-up game on their own patch, and it is going to put them in very fine fettle going in to the second of their international friendlies this week against Germany. But, you know, having been given a proper test here, this has not been a walkover for Ronald Koeman. They've had to dig in, they've had to earn the right to dominance of the game, but boy have they taken that dominance, and it is now fully reflected on the scoreboard with 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, recently, Scotland were well beaten by England. I mean, really well beaten. Not as big a scoreline, but they were beaten by a far better team and didn't look in the same league at that point in time. Against the French, exactly the same time. Okay. Miles and miles away, but not against the Dutch.
Jerry McLean had come on from McGinn, has been robbed of possession. Mallin comes squirting forward, plays it low, and it nearly comes back to him. Mallin inside the penalty area, but Hendry was there. Now Souttar, who's facing back towards his own goal, rolls it to the keeper, Angus Gunn, whose right-footed clearance goes out of play, and the Scotland defence looks shook here. This good solid performance has crumbled in recent minutes, and now they look nervous and they just want to get out of here. This opportunity to impress tonight has collapsed late on for Steve Clarke. He'll be so disappointed. I think it'll be interesting to hear his comments in the press conference, because we've rightly praised them all night, Pat, but the finish of this game's been dreadful.
Yeah, but I did say to you at half-time, if Scotland lose a second goal, they'll make 5-6 substitutions, because then you can say at the end of the game, yeah, well, you know, our first 11 did okay, and then when we messed it about, it got a bit messy after that. And it certainly has got a bit messy after that. They've not had anywhere near control of the game. And if you do make those sort of changes, not that they're poor players, it just hasn't been as controlled.
Back when it was 0-0, Ryan Christie hit the post. It was a header on target, which the goalkeeper Mark Flecken pushed up onto the crossbar. That could have been a very different situation for Scotland. Then in the second half, they hit the woodwork again. That was when Scotland were just 1-0 down. Moments that could have changed the trajectory of this tale in Amsterdam this evening, but it hasn't been. And Aki here wins it back off Che Adams. Davy Blinn gets a touch back to Joey Veerman, and the Dutch are enjoying themselves now. It's rolled in front of Denzel Dumfries on the far side. Into the final 30 seconds of normal time. The Netherlands 4, Scotland 0. A late flurry of goals has put a real sheen on this scoreline against Scotland's favour. Goals in the 84th and the 86th minute for Weghorst and for Malen.
Yeah, they're two good players to bring on. Two very, very good players to bring on. And we're just about to hit 90 minutes now, and with that number of subs, it should be about 9 minutes. And it's...
It won't be.
It's 3.
3 minutes to be added on. When the Wijnaldum goal went in, that was the 72nd minute. Here's Malen in again, over the goalkeeper, lands on the roof of the net. It wouldn't have counted anyway, he was offside. But he's looked very sharp since coming on, Donyell Malen.
Yeah, he does look incredibly sharp. He is very quick anyway, but he's playing against certainly a defence that looks tired. And they've almost given it away again. He's chased down again, and Scotland want this finish. They want it over with just now. There's just lots and lots of players. Hendry closed down there. He just couldn't get the ball at his feet quick enough, and that could have been 5. And there's a big psychological difference between 4 and 5. 4 is not a good result. 5, it is officially a hammer.
So the Netherlands, who were knocked out of the Qatar World Cup at the quarter-final stage, they went out, you might remember, on penalties to Lionel Messi's Argentina, the eventual winners. I wonder how much we can read into this scoreline tonight as to what sort of presence the Netherlands are going to have in Germany in June and July.
But we haven't really spoken about too much, Connor. Van Dijk is just so effortlessly brilliant all the time. You almost forget to say it, don't you? And once again tonight, he's been imperious.
He's been fantastic, yeah. So often he's just right place at the right time. The anticipation is fantastic. Here's Nathan Aki just on the edge of his own penalty area, turns and rolls it back to Mark Flecken. Would you put the Dutch in the bracket of potential Euro 2024 winners, Pat Hammond?
Potential, yeah, but I wouldn't say favourites. I mean, they are capable of getting far, but having watched what I've watched tonight, if they play like this, particularly in a kind of wider defensive, take Van Dijk out of it, they play like that, they won't win it. They absolutely will not win it. England would destroy them doing that. England have got too many quality creative players, and unlike the Scots, I don't think you would give Harry Kane 3 or 4 chances like this. No, he'd miss them all.
It's remarkable. If anyone's tuning in late, Netherlands are leading 4-0 against Scotland, but Scotland have had more attempts in the game than the Dutch have had, which is crazy.
And it's not a kind of weird statistic. In the last part of the game, Scotland deserved that, to have chances.
Lovely footwork from Malen. What a ball into the pen. This could settle it with a flourish. But the shots from Koopmeiners is over the top. Malen's been a revelation. He did a little shuffle there to get a bit of space, delivered a perfect ball into the penalty area, and Koopmeiners, who took it full on the volley, couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, and it's the defensive back line. And since the Celtic player Ralston's come on, the back 3, they just don't look as if they're working together anymore in Scotland. And the Dutch know that. They're not stupid. They are good players. And the players they've brought on are decent quality players as well, without a doubt.
There is the full-time whistle. It finishes Netherlands 4, Scotland 0. A disappointing scoreline for the travelling Tartan army. There are positives to take from this performance, and looking back over the full 90 minutes, I'm sure Steve Clarke will see them, but it's never nice to lose any game 4-0. And Ronald Koeman comes across and puts his arm around Steve Clarke and gives a little bit of a shrug. But the Dutch on the scoreboard, too good tonight.
Yeah, going forward, looking very, very good indeed. We know they've got quality players, and if you've got quality players in the final third, don't give them opportunities. And some people could argue, and it might be the case, that when they had to step in the gas, they did. and certainly that was the case. It felt like that to both of us near the end of the first half. Like, all right, it's a bit tough, right, let's go for it, and they did, and they scored. And certainly in that second half, when they got their opportunities, took them, they looked quite vicious in front of goal. But it is to take nothing away from Scotland. Large parts of that game Stevie Clarke would have been delighted with. He had an experiment tonight to go all out, to attack, to be pretty open, to find out what would happen. After about 60 minutes, he was probably thinking one thing. After 90, he's probably thinking something completely different.
It is now 6 games without a win for Steve Clarke. It's not ideal going into this summer's Euros, and this is a scoreline that now puts the pressure on for Tuesday's game at Hampden against Northern Ireland. This, though, is a confidence-boosting victory for Ronald Koeman going into their next warm-up game against the Euros host Germany on Tuesday. The Netherlands will be feeling very good about life. They've beaten Scotland here by 4 goals to 0.